Estamos começando mais uma Wikimetal Happy Hour com uma lenda da guitarra, mais conhecido como Ross Friedman, também conhecido como Ross the Boss. Welcome, Ross the Boss, to the Wikimetal Happy Hour. How are you, my friend?
I am bueno, senor. Everything is great. Thanks for having me.
That's excellent. My pleasure, man. Thank you so much for chatting with us. I'm sure that a lot of Brazilians are interested in knowing everything you've been involved with. So welcome, man.
Oh, excuse me, Espanol, Portuguese.
Yeah, we speak Portuguese here, but it's not a very useful language. You don't speak in many countries. So, oh, that's a nice one. I have one. We did this small campaign to get some funding for the people that work backstage and roadies and technicians. So we gave them some money. So they're all unemployed at the moment. How's the situation? You're in New York at the moment, right?
Yes, I'm in Queens, New York, and the city is somewhat better. You still can't go into a restaurant. You can go outside, and it's frustrating for New Yorkers. A lot of people have left the city.
Yeah, I suppose so. At least the price of real estate, has it gone down, or is it still same?
Down. Rents, because like 500,000 people have left.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
wow.
It's disturbing. And there's no tourist industry now, and there's no theater, and it's frustrating to watch.
It's a completely different city then, because New York has always been the busiest city in the world, and I suppose it's completely changed at the moment.
But for now it is, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that in a few months we'll have everything back, and hope that we have learned something from this experience.
If we have the vaccine, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll start to loosen up, so.
Yeah. Eu acabei de perguntar para ele como ele tá e dei as boas-vindas ao Ross the Boss, o lendário guitarrista, e perguntei como ele tá. Ele falou que ele tá em Nova York, ele tá no Queens, e a cidade tá muito diferente, não tem praticamente turistas, todos os teatros estão fechados, ainda não é possível ir a restaurantes, mas a gente comentou que em breve, se tudo der certo com a vacina, em breve tudo isso vai voltar ao normal. So Ross, first of all, before let's begin by asking you, how have you been doing? What have you been doing? I know you've been involved in many projects throughout your career, and what is your current project at the moment?
Well, thanks for asking me that. I've been very busy in this lockdown. The new Ross the Boss record came out March 6th. Born of Fire. This one.
Yeah. Great.
And so it's basically a brand new record. And the Dictators, my old band, the Dictators, we're recording the new band. The original band is back together, and we've been recording, and we're stockpiling music. We don't know, maybe for an album or something, but the band will be touring as soon as we can. And my other metal band called Death Dealer has a record coming out in November, the third record. It's called Conquered Lands, and so that's all in play too. So, and I've been doing a lot of projects. I played on a song for Die Krups, industrial German band, a song called No More Heroes. It's the Stranglers. And so I've been very busy and a lot of things. We did the Wacken online thing. We did 30 minutes live. And of course, what's coming up on September 17th, Live Nation, for Crew Nation.
Excellent. Eu perguntei para ele quais são os projetos que ele está envolvido hoje em dia. Ele está muito ocupado e está se mantendo muito ocupado em vários projetos. Ele tem o projeto solo dele, que é o Ross the Boss, que lançou um disco em março, esse CD que ele acabou de mostrar. Ele está no estúdio com o The Dictators, que é a banda original dele, onde ele praticamente começou a carreira. Eles estão trabalhando em cima de um álbum novo. Isso é uma notícia muito legal, que a banda é fantástica. Ele tem um outro projeto que ele está envolvido, que é o Death Dealer, que lançou o terceiro álbum, que chama Conquered Lands. Vários projetos que ele está envolvido. It's really good, man. You're how do you keep yourself? How do you find time to be involved in so many projects? Which one is?
Because I work every single day.
You work every day.
Yeah.
Is that your solo project, right?
That's Death Dealer.
That's Death Dealer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a strange thing because I have 3/5 of the band is in the Ross the Boss band. I got me, Mike LaPond, and Steve Bolognese in Death Dealer.
Wow. And how do you decide which song will be used on each?
Well, I mean, I'm not the primary songwriter in Death Dealer, so
Okay.
Hold on a second. Hey, Simon. Yeah, excuse me.
No problem, man.
Yeah, so no, we have a lot of songs. As a matter of fact, Death Dealer, we have 5 records. We Stu and Sean and myself, we've got 36 songs recorded. So we have the third record done, coming out. The 4th one we're working on, and the 5th one's in the can already. So I'm just adding my leads to the 4th one. So the lockdown has let us do a lot of things. So I know a lot of artists are really stockpiling music because that's the only thing we can do.
Eu falei com ele falou que está envolvido em todos esses projetos. Ele mostrou a capa do Death Dealer e eles realmente estão estocando músicas, porque vários artistas estão fazendo isso, porque é uma das poucas coisas que eles podem fazer. Talking about you mentioned the Dictators, and you know, I know the band for a long time, and I was listening to the first albums before we started this interview, and you guys were a very original and unique band at the time, and you're one of the first punk rock bands before even the word punk was even around, right?
Yes, we released our first record, The Dictators Go Girl Crazy, in 1975. And we were like, there were 3 bands that were signed in New York City back then. It was Kiss, the New York Dolls, and the Dictators. And so we were 1 year before the Ramones. We predated the Ramones by a year.
But you were one of the first bands to play at the CBGBs as well. I mean, it was what, New York Dolls and you guys.
Dolls started there. Patti Smith, Debbie Harry, Talking Heads. A lot. It was great talent in CBGBs.
Eu tava perguntando para ele do Dictators, que foi a primeira banda dele praticamente. E ele falou que realmente, eu perguntei, eles tocavam punk rock antes do punk existir. Ele comentou que o primeiro disco deles foi lançado em 75 e naquela época só 3 bandas de New York tinham contato com gravadoras. Uma delas era o Kiss, o outro foi o New York Dolls e a The Dictators. Foi uma época que eles foram uma das primeiras bandas a tocar no CBGBs, na época também com a Blondie, o Talking Heads e bandas como essa. And man, the band was like it's funny because I mean, looking at back now, it's easy to understand, you know, punk rock and all that. But who are your heroes at the time? Who influenced the Dictators to create that kind of sound that was that had a special sense of humor in the way you presented yourselves, but at the same time it was punk rock with guitar solos. That was one of the few bands that had guitar solos, right?
Right. That was me.
I know.
You know, it was like, we called it punk metal, like Motorhead, something like Motorhead was, and Plasmatics and bands like that. I think the Dictators were too punk for the metal crowd and too metal for the punk crowd. So it was we fit in perfectly, and now it's very very chic to be that. So what our influences were like the Beach Boys, the Who, surf music, Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, you know, guys like that. You know, there's the garage rock. You know, a lot of those bands, you know, really influenced the Dictators. For me, as a guitar player, I was totally a blues guitar player. And that's where you get my style from. That's why I could play all these different genres. So growing up in the Bronx, I'm a blues guitar player. So then I can just play anything.
Eu perguntei para ele sobre o Dictators, que o Dictators era uma banda diferente na época, diferente da maioria. Eles tinham também um lance de senso de humor na forma como eles se apresentavam, muito interessante. E aí ele falou, eu perguntei quais eram as influências. Ele falou que tinha essa influência um pouco do Motorhead, que é do Plasmatics, que era as bandas de metal punk da época, e eles se achavam muito punk para o público de metal e muito metal para o público do punk, que é uma coisa que hoje em dia está meio que na moda. Mas as influências deles eram de The Who, Beach Boys, bastante surf music, Iggy Pop, e ele como guitarrista de blues. E aí eu perguntei para ele que era engraçado porque era uma banda de punk que tinha solo de guitarra, né? E ele realmente, ele falou que era por causa dele estar na banda, porque ele sempre foi muito influenciado pelo blues. And then after the Dictators, you moved to France. You played at a French band, and how did that happen?
Shakin' Street, it was called. My manager was in Sandy Pearlman, who managed Blue Oyster Cult and Dictators, and so he was in Paris. And Fabienne, the lead singer, Chanteuse, went to see him, and charmed the shit out of him. And so she got Sandy to manage and produce the Blue Oyster Cult, produce Shakin' Street, but they needed a guitar player because the guitar player sold his guitar for heroin. So they needed a guitar player. And so Sandy goes, well, the Dictators had just done 3 records and was taking a break. And she goes, well, Sandy goes, I got the guitar player for you. And so like he gives me a call from the backstage of Pavillon Baltar from Blue Oyster Cult. And he goes, they want you here in Paris tomorrow. So there was a ticket at JFK for me. And so I flew off to Paris the next day and auditioned for them. It took about 10 seconds and I was in the band. So.
And then, but you also lived in Paris for how long? You lived for a year in Paris, or how long?
Yeah, I must have been there for a year. We came back to San Francisco to record the record, and so yeah, we did like a year of touring in Europe, and then we did the Black and Blue tour, and then in the United States, and then we went to England supporting Black Sabbath, and that
everything changed after that.
When things started to change.
Hang on. Eu perguntei para ele, depois do Dictators, ele tocou numa banda francesa, ele até morou na França por um tempo. Ele tinha o mesmo empresário dele na época do Dictators, era empresário do Blue Oyster Cult, e ele estava na França com o Blue Oyster Cult, e uma das bandas que ele também agenciava era uma banda chamada Shakin' Street. Eles precisavam no guitarrista, porque o guitarrista da banda tinha vendido a guitarra para comprar a heroína. Uma coisa leve. E, opa, what happened with the light?
It's you.
No, now it's back. E aí ele entrou nessa banda e ficou por um tempo nessa banda até que eles foram gravar em São Francisco. E aí ele estava abrindo a turnê Blue Oyster Cult, a turnê chamada Black and Blue nos Estados Unidos. Depois foram para a Inglaterra era uma turnê maravilhosa do Blue Oyster Cult e Black Sabbath na época do Ronnie James Dio. E aí uma história que mudou a vida dele aconteceu nessa turnê. And then you're supporting Blue Oyster Cult and Black Sabbath. This fantastic tour, Black and Blue. There was even I think I remember watching a movie about not a movie, but there's a home video that was released called Black and Blue with Blue Oyster Cult and Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath had during the Dio years, and it was a fantastic time for the band. And you're supporting this tour with Shakin' Street, and then you can tell us what happened, because that changed your life and our lives for good.
So it was in the UK. We were in the UK and playing and doing a sound check. And Ronnie Dio comes up to me and he goes, Ross, I really like the way you play guitar, and I know all about New York rock and CBGBs and Dictators and the whole scene. But I have a friend on the crew. His name is Joey, and you should go meet Joey. So I go, okay. So after the sound check, I just go meet Joey, this guy Joey, and he was on the crew of the Black Sabbath, and he was helping the technician Doc, who's a genius, John Stillwell, and we got to talking, and we decided that we had a lot of similar things in common. We liked a lot of the same bands. Well, of course, Black Sabbath, our idols, Grand Funk Railroad, Mountain, The Who, Jimi Hendrix Experience, Led Zeppelin, all, three-piece bands with singers, Mountain, things like that. And so we would jam in Black Sabbath's dressing room while they were on stage. And as time went on, as the tour went on, and we started jamming and about ideas and stuff like that, and we became really good friends, and we decided to make a band. And we would play the last show in Hawaii at Aloha Stadium, and then we would come home back to my house in Mount Vernon, New York, and then we started writing music for what would be the first Manowar record.
It was a fantastic album, fantastic story. Ross, let me translate it to our friends here. Aí ele estava fazendo essa turnê com o Shaking Street, abrindo o Blue Oyster Cult e o Black Sabbath, e um dia no soundcheck o Ronnie James Dio, que era um cara fantástico, chegou pro Ross e falou: eu quero te apresentar um amigo que trabalha aqui na equipe da banda, tá viajando com a gente. E aí ele apresentou um amigo chamado Joey, e ele falou: tá, o que você gosta? Gostavam das mesmas bandas, conheciam as mesmas bandas. E aí ele simplesmente começou a conversar, falou: acho que a gente tinha que formar uma banda, tal. Quando eles foram para os Estados Unidos, e eles começaram a escrever músicas juntos e tal, e essas músicas que eles começaram a escrever juntos simplesmente fizeram parte do primeiro disco do Manowar. Ele se encontrou com Joey DeMaio, foi o cara que o Ronnie James Dio apresentou, e eles formaram assim o Ross the Boss junto com o Joey DeMaio, formaram o Manowar, e aí começaram a escrever as músicas do que seria o álbum de estreia do Manowar, Battle Hymn. Well, I don't know if you're aware at the time, that's a baseball. You're a baseball fan or more than a baseball player, right?
I sucked at baseball. My son was great.
But you like watching it? You're a fan?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's a fun sport to watch. And aí eu tava falando, and then sorry, where was I? Was I translating or was I asking? Oh, you wrote the songs that became battle hymns. You know that album that album was so popular in Brazil at the time. I suppose you didn't even realize that, right?
Well, Joey and I realized that we were putting out a powerful image, a powerful name, powerful songs to the world. We didn't know exactly the impact we would have, but it was big. It was a big impact, and it just kept growing with the albums we made. So
there was a huge mistake by all record companies in Brazil, because even though Battle Hymns was a huge commercial success, and I remember at the time because I bought the album and I was a huge fan. Even then, that was what, 84?
82.
82. I think it was released a couple of years later in Brazil, but still. But that was the only Manowar album that was released at the time. I think maybe the first one after. I don't think any of the other Manowar albums were released here.
Because I think the second one we went independent. Johnny Z's label, Johnny Z Megaforce.
Yeah.
The man who discovered
John Zazula.
And I produced Anthrax, and I presented him Anthrax to sign, and after I produced them, and so it was independent. So I guess it didn't get Into Glory Ride didn't get the distribution that Major Label had. So it was Into Glory Ride, and then we had Hail to England, which was still Music for Nations and other, it had to be on import in all over the world.
A lot of kids imported those albums, spend a lot of money by buying imported albums here.
Still do import those records. And so after Hail to England, it's probably my favorite. I love Hail to, and then Sign of the Hammer, we signed to Virgin Records.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hail to England is probably my favorite Manowar album as well. But my favorite Manowar song, it's on the second album, and it's Revelation That's Angel. I think that song, it starts, the low key, and it gets growing, and in the end, you're just like, Revelations! I love it, man. It's so good. Eu tava perguntando para ele do Manowar se ele sabia que no Manowar o Battle Hymns fez tanto sucesso no Brasil e por que depois desse álbum nenhum outro álbum foi lançado oficialmente no Brasil e a molecada tinha que comprar importado, né? Quem tinha grana na época tinha que comprar importado. E ele falou que o segundo álbum já começou numa gravadora independente, que é a Mega Force, que era do John Z, que é o cara que descobriu Metallica. Inclusive, uma delas foi o Anthrax, que foi apresentada pro John Z pelo Ross the Boss, e ele que produziu o álbum. Did you produce the first Anthrax album, Fistful of Metal, or?
I produced their first singles.
Okay.
Soldiers of Metal, that got them signed to Megaforce.
Unreal. There was that part of a compilation album or something that was?
I guess they put it on it, but it was the original Anthrax.
Unreal. Ele produziu os primeiros singles do Anthrax que foram apresentados depois para o John Z, aí ele contratou a banda. That's a fantastic story, Ross. And Manowar, you stayed. It's funny because when we see bands now, you stayed for the first period of Manowar. You stayed there for what, 8 years?
8 years, 6 records.
Yeah, 6 records in 8 years.
We started in 81, and from 82 to 88, we did 6 records in 6 years.
It's amazing because some bands today, they do 1 album in 6 years, and you did like 6 albums. It was a lot of creativity at the time.
That's what Manowar did after I left.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because after you left the band, I'm not saying that just because you're here, but it wasn't the same afterwards. But anyway, that's another story. Eu tava falando para ele do Manowar, que né, fantástica a participação dele, que eles gravaram 6 discos praticamente em 6 anos, e hoje em dia as bandas levam, às vezes, gravam um disco em 6 anos. Né? There were some questions from our viewers here. Alistair Darwin, he asked you if you could say what are your 5 favorite albums of all time.
Well, I don't want to show you how old I am.
But we all listen to old music.
I mean, the 5 albums that changed my life today, I would say, I'm going to say Cream Disraeli Gears. I'm going to say Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. B.B. King live at the Regal. I would say The Who live at Leeds. And Jimi Hendrix Experience.
That's unreal. Wow, there's a lot of great guitar players there, and so many legendary artists that you like. You have a great taste for music. And then after Manowar, why did you leave the band?
I was asked to leave.
How come?
Well,
they realized it was a huge mistake because I know we've heard about a lot of issues they've been having with their guitar players lately. It's not that good.
When you're in a band, when you're in a partnership with somebody, it's like a marriage, you know. And Joey was like, you know, he thought that things would be better without me. I mean, he would make more money without his partner, for sure. And you know, it was a power trip, I think. I can't look back at the past in anger. I only look at the good things that we've done. I only look at the positive things in the music. And I consider everyone my friend.
No, you're absolutely right, and you have the right attitude. That's why you're a successful musician and artist.
Here's a good point. You see how handsome I still am?
Yeah, you look great.
Yeah.
You still have your hair, long hair. Look at me.
Listen, I don't go to bed at night angry. You know?
That's a good move.
Everything is good for me. My career, I mean, everything is just great. If this fucking pandemic would end, I'd have 3 bands that would be on tour. And I'm just very happy, and I love the fans, and I love all the support, and I love meeting folks and playing for a living. And I consider myself very lucky to be doing what I'm doing more than ever at this stage in my life. That's
fantastic, man. That's the best attitude, and you seem so happy.
I'm very happy, and I work every single day here. This is my place, and I'm a lot of young kids here, inner city, Latin kids, Brazilian kids playing baseball, African Americans, white kids, everybody's playing baseball. I even have cricket I have Muslim people coming here playing cricket in my place. I'm extremely lucky, and so I wake up every day and go to work. That's the thing, and that's why I can get out so much music, and that's why that's what I have to say to musicians. Don't be lazy, guys. Don't
That's
be lazy.
fantastic, man.
If you're lazy, if you sleep late, if you sleep to 12 o'clock in Brazil, what time is it in Germany? The heavy metal industry is in Germany, right?
5 p.m.
6 p.m. already. The day's over for Europe. So you have to be up, and you have to have smarts, and you have to have drive. And,
Yeah, that's perfect.
And you can't take no for an answer.
You're right. Eu estava falando que ele tem uma atitude muito positiva sobre tudo, ele é um cara muito feliz e ele não guarda ressentimento de nenhuma dos problemas que ele teve no passado com nenhum membro de qualquer banda. Ele saiu da banda do Manowar porque o Joey DeMaio queria ganhar mais dinheiro, e acabou tirando ele da banda, mas eu acho que foi um erro, porque depois os discos do Manowar não continuaram no mesmo nível, né? And after Manowar, what were your next moves?
So after Manowar, in '88, I kind of got married in 1989, and I had my son Jesse in '91, and so that took some time, when you have a kid. And then the Dictators started playing up again. Well, we did a record called Manitoba's Wild Kingdom, which is the Dictators minus one guitar player, and just kept playing Manitoba's Wild Kingdom, and the Dictators went to Spain, and just kept touring.
Fantastic. Ele depois do Manowar voltou com o Dictators, ele lançou Manitoba's Wild King, que é uma banda sem um dos integrantes do Dictators. And I forgot to ask you, but in the Dictators classic lineup, let's call it that way, you had a great bass player playing with you, Mark Mendoza, who later became one of the bass player of Twisted Sister, another great band.
Yes, Mark joined the band for our second record, Manifest Destiny, and he's just incredible, an amazing bass player. I've been blessed with bass players, you know what I'm saying? I got Mark, I got Joey DeMaio, I got Mike LaPon now, who's probably one of the best in the world, and I've been blessed, and I've been blessed with singers. So, as I say, I consider myself very lucky, because I played with so many great musicians.
You did, but one thing, it wasn't that lucky, because how loud was Joey DeMaio's amp? Because I mean, okay, I'm a bass player too. I mean, of course, nothing close to Joey DeMaio, but I know my place. Joey, the bass player. Wow, if you listen to Beatles albums, the bass is like that high as well. So I mean, it's an important instrument, right?
It's Sir Paul McCartney there, buddy. Come on.
Yeah.
Joey was the loudest fucking thing I've ever. I mean, I would stand on stage with 2 complete Marshall stacks. I had more gear than God, and my Marshalls were on 10, and they were the loudest Marshalls ever. I couldn't hear myself. He played so loud.
There's one important thing: all men play on 10.
That's right.
Well, man, it's so good to chat with you, and there's so many great stories, and we really expect you to come to Brazil soon and have this chat in person, because
we want to come. We want to come to South America so bad. We want to.
Yeah, you have a lot of fans here.
I know.
And the kids are crazy to see bands live again. It's crazy. We haven't seen almost anyone this year.
Well, everyone has to stay patient.
You also played with one of I love this band, a Swedish band called the Helicopters. You recorded one of their albums, right?
Well, I recorded a song for them, Psyched Out and Furious.
How did you end up being in Stockholm, or I don't know if you went there, but
we did a tour. The Dictators. What was the other band? The Dictators, Helicopters, and another band. What the fuck? Well, we did. There was a three band package, and I became friends with the Helicopters, and so they asked me to play on. One of the records. So
I think that Nick Royale is one of the most talented artists
he's
in
great.
the world.
He's
Great drummer, great guitarist, good singer. You know, he's got the whole pack.
Yep. Yeah. No, he can play drums like a motherfucker too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were here just before the in beginning of March this year,
For the
and
shit show.
yeah, excellent, man. So look, I really really like to meet you in person when you're here in Brazil. I'm sure that will happen very soon, and just be safe and take care, and please count on us to help promote anything you do. You know, we love your music, we love the way you play guitar, and Russ the Boss. That's a great name for a fantastic artist, fantastic person, and we encourage our viewers to listen to your music. That's the best.
This record is really great. I'm really proud of this record. Born of Fire.
Born on Fire by Russ the Boss. That's a great name. Where did you get that? Who gave you that name?
It was growing up in the Bronx. I was from playing baseball, and so we were little kids, and my friend would go. We're choosing sides to who's going to play in the park. You know, like we're choosing sides up, and my friend goes, pick Ross. He's the boss.
Well, there's another boss, Bruce, also known as Bruce Springsteen, but there's only one Russ the Boss.
Only one Russ Boss, but Bruce Springsteen is a great guy.
Yeah, he is. He's very talented artist too.
He did a little thing on the Dictator's third record. He's on.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Unreal. Excellent, Ross. So please count on us on anything you need to promote, and we love your music. And come to Brazil as soon as you can, and we'll be there for sure.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor talking to you, sir.
My pleasure, Ross. There was the legendary guitar player Russ the Boss on Wikimetal. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. A pleasure. Thank you.